Welcome to the Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. As the nation's first community college, JJC has been making history since 1901. With more than 70,000 alumni, we have an endless supply of stories to share. Listen in to find out how deep our alumni's JJC roots go and how far they've been able to branch out into our community and beyond. Happy New Year, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us on our first episode of 2026. This happens to be the start of a very big year for the JJC Foundation, as our Executive Director, Kristi Mulvey, officially retired in December after 25 years of service at JJC. During her tenure, Kristi played a pivotal role in the growth of the foundation, and under her leadership, we went from $6 million to over $50 million. Kristi attributes a lot of that success to her fantastic team, and I am thrilled to get to announce on the podcast today that her successor is not only a JJC alum, but also has played a crucial role as one of the members of the foundation team since 2010. So, without further ado, I'm excited to introduce Amanda Quinn, the new Executive Director of the JJC Foundation. Amanda, thanks so much for being our guest today to kick off the new year.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. And what you're not saying is that you're on this amazing team too.
Well, I figured I would kind of get to that part later. But yeah, it's going to be so much fun. When you agreed to be on this episode, obviously, you're an alum. You've had a huge career here at JJC, and you've got a wonderful story to tell. But selfishly, I'm just excited that you and I are both on the mic today together. You've been a behind-the-scenes producer of this podcast since the beginning. You have. And it was sort of your idea to explore this idea, and you've really supported this. And this is going to be a big part of our initiative in the year to come. So I'm just happy we can kick off the year together.
I know. It's exciting. It's exciting to be on, too. I always say I hate my voice, and you say the same thing, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. Come on. This might be my favorite episode of the year. And it's just the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into how you got back to JJC, how you were in the foundation to begin with, I really do love your story about why you chose to come back to JJC, and then how that experience and what was going on in your life at that time really kind of shaped you and led you to the point that we're at today. So walk through a little bit of that. How did you get to JJC as a student?
Yeah, so I'm not your traditional alumni story. I went away for a semester. I went down to Florida. My dream was to be in the sun. We all know I like the sun.
Yeah.
And so I go down there and I start my experience there, and I didn't have a good one. Everyone has a roommate story, I think, but I had a terrible roommate story. And I called my mom and dad and I'm like, I want to come home. Please let me come home. And they're like, you're staying there and you can drive home at Christmas.
No.
But, you can do this. So I did. I stuck it out. I stayed there through Christmas and I said, I'm coming home. My sister actually went down there with me because she was at a transitional time too. She's like, I need a change. She actually just graduated from JJC. And so we went down there together. She came home with me because she's like, I'm not staying by myself. But yeah, so I came back and then came to JJC to try to figure out where I wanted to be. So here I was.
And what was the experience like? I mean, you had been away and now you were back home. Was it a positive one right off the bat?
Yeah. So I went to Joliet Catholic Academy. I know many people know that school. My class was under 200 people. I was in lectures in Florida with 200 people in the room. So coming back here, I was like, I'm back in a classroom. I'm in a smaller setting. I'm not a number. I'm a person. Even though JJC is big and was even back then, I was actually a person to people. And I got to know my instructors. Some of them are actually donors to the foundation. And when I see them, I remember my time there, in their classroom, like Roxanne Munch and Pat Asher and Zach Bloomfield and people like that who I felt connected to when I went to school here. Yeah. Small classroom, got to know them. Pat Asher actually lived in my neighborhood. So I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
So I had a great experience here. I really did. It was a great stepping stone for me. I initially thought that I was just going to stay one semester and try to regroup and refigure it out. I lived down the street from the University of St. Francis, but I didn't. I stayed a whole extra year.
Yeah, and you actually earned enough credit hours that under our sort of newer interpretation of what an alumni here is 30 plus credit hours. Yeah. Although you didn't, like you said, leave with a certificate or a degree, you did have how many hours? I mean, you were here a year and a half, weren't you?
I was here a year and a half. Back a couple of years ago, they were going back to people who could have graduated but didn't because They didn't know any different. Because back when I was here, there wasn't the push to meet with advisors like it is now and come up with your plan to get through here in 4 semesters. So I self-advised. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, okay, I need English. I need math. I need this. I need that. I didn't even know that I needed to graduate or should have. Like I just came here. But I think I was a little short to graduate because they were graduating people who had enough hours at the time. So
Right. But it was a perfect transition for you, though, because you were able to go right from JJC to the University of St. Francis.
Yeah, which was great. So once again, I turned down my street one way. I come to JJC. I turned down my street another way to go to St. Francis. So it was a great stepping stone to even get into St. Francis. I was a member of Phi Theta Kappa here, which was great. They gave me a great scholarship to go to St. Francis and get my degree there. So the schools still do to this day work really well together to make that transition smooth for individuals. So I had a great experience at JJC. Like I said, many great teachers. My friends were here in many cases. A lot of people went away and came back, and I wasn't the only one not making it down in Florida. So it was a great experience and a great stepping stone to move on to St. Francis and beyond.
Yeah, and I think that if I remember the story correct, I mean, there is a big reason that you really did want to stick close to home, not just for your time here at JJC, but then also your decision to stay local with University of St. Francis. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I had come back from Florida, went a whole semester here, and then I was trying to figure out what to do. And my parents are like, just stay at JJC. You like it there. It's down the street. Regroup, figure it out after next year. So it was summer and it was August and we go on a family vacation and I'm starting school in a couple of weeks, my second year at JJC. And my dad ended up passing away of a heart attack while we were there. So we go through all this stuff and then it's like time to start school like a week later. My mom, and I go to my mom, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to school. I can't go to school. I'm staying home. And she's like, you're going to school. What are you going to do? Sit at home? I'm like, okay, I'm going to school. So what that really solidified for me was I needed to be close to home. I wanted to be by my mom. My sister actually lived at home and had a baby. So we were 3 women and a baby living at home. And it was fun. I mean, we had a good time. So we made it through the year. My sister and I actually both transferred to St. Francis together after that. And I helped her watch her son while she was in class. And she was obviously with her son when I was in class. But it was a kind of a great experience. And it really connected me really close to my mom and to this community, really, because I didn't end up leaving again. I've been here ever since. I mean, so I'm really a Joliet lifer girl.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I wanted to get into the sort of career aspect. And it's funny because it always seems like you want to go somewhere from Joliet and you want to go away to school and you're like, oh no, I need to be back. And obviously, the tragedy with your dad and then wanting to stay. But all of that was sort of like the stepping stones and the start of your connection to the community, the start of you really being immersed in everything around here. And then you're like, okay, well, I think I want to work in the city though. Sorry, Joliet. I want to go and I want to start my career in the city. And you did that for how long? How long were you kind of commuting downtown?
I wasn't doing that for very long. I had a couple different jobs, but then I worked downtown Chicago and I was living my life, having fun, going to the coffee shops in the morning on my way into the office like I was cool or something. But so then what happened is I had my son and I was commuting and I feel so bad for all the people that do this. How lucky am I to live really down the street from JJC because that commute was a lot. And when you have a baby, and my baby slept a lot, he's now 18, but he slept a lot. I never saw him ever. It was making me crazy. So I said to my husband, I need to find a job. So I applied at JJC and I applied for a position as the assistant to the VP of student development. That's the out in Hoban. And she is an amazing person and really encouraged me to continue to grow and not just be an assistant. And she didn't treat me like one, really. I mean, she didn't at all.
But I mean, again, you started your job here and you already had such a comfort and a familiarity about being at JJC. You were a student here. It's in your community. You're back home again. And so I'm sure that transition was pretty easy, especially when you have somebody like that to work for.
For sure.
And how long were you in student development?
I was there till I think 3 or 4 years. 3 years, maybe. Yeah, so I worked for her for 3 years, but all during that time, and this will kind of explain where I am today, is when my dad passed away, his work started a golf outing in his memory, and they were raising a lot of money every year. I think in
Mm,
total, we probably raised in 20 years over $500,000 that we
wow,
gave back to the community. And so I was part of
that's
that.
amazing.
And then as I got older, I was 19 when he died, but as I got older, I took on a larger role with that golf outing. And then it was pretty well known in the community. We were giving back to all sorts of organizations, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Guardian Angel Community Services, Joliet
That's
Catholic
amazing.
Academy, and then eventually JJC, where we started an endowment with the
And so
money.
your fundraising career began.
Kristi discovered me.
Okay.
So Kristi knew what I was doing, and she would come up to my desk when I was working for Betsy, and she'd say, "You need to work for me." I said, "I don't want to be a fundraiser." I remember saying that to her.
Famous last
I'm like,
words.
I don't think I can do that. I know I'm doing it with the golf outing, but it's different. And she's like, "No, it's not. You can do this." And so she really did encourage me to do that. And at the same time, my next door neighbor who was the assistant to the VP of Academic Affairs, Jane Montello, she said to me, "Amanda, you need to be getting your master's degree and you need to move on." And I did.
Aw,
I did. I took one class at a time when TJ was a baby because I knew I couldn't do more because I would have felt too guilty. One class at a
yeah.
time and eventually got my master's degree. And then here I am today.
Yeah, and all the pieces just fell into place. Christie's, push to get you into her office. We all know that when Kristi Mulvey wants something, she goes for it, and she got you in. And in this case, I'm just so glad that she did. And you got your master's, and so you started in the foundation in 2010.
2010. Yep.
And what were you doing in the office when you first jumped in?
So Kristi actually was tasked with starting a grants office probably in 2008 or 9. And she hired somebody, and then they wanted a second grant writer. And so she's like, "You can get your start here in grant writing." I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And so I did. I did that for a very short time. My hope was to eventually take on actually what you do, Jen, the alumni and annual giving stuff. And I knew eventually the individual in that role was interested in possibly leaving. So I'm like, okay, I can do the stepping stone of grant writing. And what a great base it gives you for
Yes.
fundraising. My minor was writing in college. So I didn't hate writing, but I really like people. So I was like,
Yeah.
in that role, I struggled a little bit just sitting at the desk and writing all the time. But
Yeah.
it was good. It was a great experience. And it does give me, I can appreciate what our grants office does because
Mhm.
it's a
Yep.
lot of work and you can mess up a grant like just because it's single spaced and not double spaced. And you could be knocked out just for something like that. So you learn a lot and you learn to really
Yeah.
follow directions.
Absolutely. So you had an administrative role at the college, you've had grant writing, you've been alumni and annual giving, and then you eventually moved in to be the director of institutional advancement. And that's just really where I feel like the ball got rolling for you. It started a lot of great events here, ones that still continue on. Isn't there like a story with the 5K too? Why you
Yeah.
started it? Who encouraged you to do this?
Well, actually, surprisingly, the 5K was run out of the VP of Student Development's office when it first came to the college.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I had worked for Betsy. When I tell you I was her administrative assistant, I was, but she really saw me as somebody who could take on projects that she wanted done
Mm.
because she did her own calendar, she scheduled her own events. She didn't like totally need me. I'm like, what am I
Phew,
going to do all
that
day?
sounds like someone else I
I know.
know
She taught me
here.
well.
Yeah, she did.
She taught me well. But yes, one of the Dick Dystrip, who was actually on the college board of trustees, came to her and said, "Can you start a 5K to raise money for scholarships for students?" So she did that and worked with the foundation to make that happen. So luckily
Mhm.
in that role, I was working with the foundation to help set up our first 5K, which for anyone listening, Jen has now taken this on and really
Yes.
she loves it. It's one of her favorite
I do
events.
love it.
She does a great job with it, and I love that I don't have to worry about anything. I'm like, I just show up to the event and it's happening. I love it.
I was trained well. But really, I think that any success that we continually have in the foundation comes from good ideas. And I love that we can give each other credit for those great ideas, but not a single thing is executed without all of us making it happen. in the month of December, we went through a 6 business day time span where we had 3 events that was our office's job to put on. And it was just so much coordinating and so many little details and working with a million departments on campus that we also couldn't do anything we do without. But our team in the foundation really does have such strength in different areas that all come together. And you can see it so well in those things. And it's why so many of the events and campaigns and things that we do in the foundation have such a longevity, is because they go well and we work hard and we have bumps along the way, but we figure them out. We can pivot in a crisis. We do it all the time.
Yes, we do.
And so, but what is beautiful about Kristi's legacy is that it's been under her direction for 25 years. It's built this solid foundation, $52 million. I mean, how can you even, that's so amazing for a community college. We've got events, we've got an establishment, we've got lots of great relationships in the community. So, of course, the first question on everybody's mind when they found out that Kristi was finally going to retire to be with her grandkids after years of saying she wanted to, but not quite ready, was, well, what are you guys going to do? And you always have such a good answer. It's like, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Like, we have a great team going. She's trained us well. We know what we need to do, but there's also a lot of excitement about what's to come. So I definitely want to spend just a minute and let, I guess, both of us kind of talk what we're excited about for the foundation in 2026.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and you kind of alluded to this, is we have a great team. And people who are, everyone has their own strengths. And I know that's cliche or whatever, but they really do have their own strengths. So I know what people are good at. People know what I'm good at, what you're good at. And we let people do that. And the one thing that I've really learned from Kristi over the years that I will bring with me is try it. If it fails, we'll figure it out. I have failed. There's been year-end appeals that were a total flop, and nobody wrote me up or sent me on my way. They're like, okay, let's
pack your bag.
Let's see what happens. Let's try something different. And we have done so many different things throughout the year. And when you came, you really brought it to the next level with social media and bringing it beyond just a direct mail piece, which we know how important it is because that's how we bring in a lot of money. But as the next generation of individual donors come, they're going to be giving in different ways than the current one. So the more we do and the more channels we use to make that happen, the more we'll raise and the more support we'll have for our students. And I think back to the staff, everyone gets that, and we're all on board with each other and very supportive of each other, and we'll do what it takes to get things done. Even the grant writers don't necessarily throw events, but they're there for all of them.
Always.
So I don't think we need to change a lot. I mean, I think we just need to forge ahead and continue to learn and try new things and grow and support each other. I mean, we're an office of women. So we will have to hire somebody. So maybe we won't be soon, but I'm just excited about it. And it's almost hard to put it into words. But we have a great foundation. And I don't mean
we do
with JJC Foundation. I mean, our base.
No pun intended. I think that the reason that we don't have to jump like that is because, like you said, Kristi let you take risks. Therefore, you let me take risks. All of us have tried things. And the fact that we get to just try and see how it goes isn't something that's always established in a lot of offices. And we have this important job where we are raising just necessary funds for the college. So a lot of times we feel like we cannot fail, cannot put on a bad event. We cannot have an appeal that flops when it costs money for us to send that out. But in any kind of creative field, and I still feel like we are very much in that, yes, for fundraisers, but there's so much creativity and peopling and connection and collaboration that has to happen to make this work. And I feel like you cannot get it right every time. But the fact that we are even given the space to try and get creative. This podcast was a just shot in the dark. Who's going to listen? Who's going to want to care? And it's just been the best thing. And had we not taken that risk and making that jump, we wouldn't be where we were. We wouldn't be a $52 million foundation without the risks that we've taken. I think what I'm very excited for is that I think you and I are very similar in our extrovertedness and the way that we really thrive in the environment of people. We thrive in those connections. We like being in the community. We like being with other people and talking and networking. And that's really where some of the most beautiful connections have come from recently. And it's why so many donors over decades have been so connected to the foundation, is because we've had people in this office who've taken the time to care and to connect to them. So I'm excited to keep sharing those stories of our donors, of our scholarship recipients, of our alumni, because that's really what our office is about. Because without all of them, we don't have this.
Yeah. So somebody once asked me, like, why don't you leave? And I'm like, I can't. I love the donors. Like, I feel like I'm here to focus on what they've given us to make sure it's distributed to who they want it to go to. And like,
Absolutely.
I feel like the connection to the donors, and I hope what we can do moving forward is connect more with the students. We do, but not as much as we could. But like just the other day, just yesterday, I was in a meeting and I came back and there was a donor in my office with their student. And it just, to see that is like what it's all about. I could go work in a job where I'm behind a desk all day, but when you see those connections, it's worth everything. I love those moments that when we're all in a bad mood or something and something really good happens, a student comes in and is excited about their scholarship, or a donor calls, and then we're like, this is why we do what we do. This is exactly why we do it. This is why we need to get over our bad mood, because there's people in a lot worse situations than us, and we have these people who are making people's lives amazing.
Yeah. And I do feel like the best days are when someone tells us that we've like done that for them. I mean, okay, so I have to go back because you were on this trip too. And we took our first alumni trip abroad to London and Paris. And I met an alum, Cindy, love her to pieces. None of us were real close with her, knew her personally, but she wanted to go on this trip with us. And she's like, is it okay that I go alone? Is it okay that I like reconnect with the college? We became so invested in Cindy's dream to see the Eiffel Tower when we were in Paris that one of my favorite work moments ever was taking her. We go on this trip. We're on the boat, floating down the Seine in Paris, looking at the Eiffel Tower with the Olympic rings. And all of us are looking at Cindy, watching her have this like moment, and all of us getting tears in our eyes. And after that trip was over, she sent the most amazing email to me saying like, JJC was always special to me, but what you guys are doing in the foundation is so much more than you just writing me to ask me for money. You are building this relationship with us. You just gave me a once in a lifetime experience. And not only did you take me to Paris, but you cried with me in Paris and you cheered me on. Cindy was also in our Connections magazine, just with our group, just having the time of her life, was quoted. And that relationship has stayed. And it's, again, that trip was a risk. That trip was a connection. And now she's a donor and she's coming back. And I'm so looking forward to more things like that. Walking into our office and seeing donors sitting there, being at graduation among students who actually know our names. They're not just the foundation or alumni office. They know us, whether we gave them a scholarship or we're connecting with them at the Wiley Leadership. There's just really some amazing moments. What else? Is there anything else that you're super excited for in 2026 that we're going to get to do together?
In 2026, I think I'm most excited about coming back in and starting conversations with, although I know a lot of the donors, but I want to open up my door and meet them for coffee, have lunch, get to know them even better. I don't know all of them, but I know many of them. And being able to have an open door to them, to know that they can always come to me. Kristi was here 25 years. They feel comfortable with her. And I want them to feel comfortable with me and you and the entire office staff. And I know we've talked a lot about connecting not only myself to the community, but also you and everybody else. Like Kelly Baker does our scholarships in our office. Let's tell the community about that. They can go to her to talk to her about that. Even our support staff, they do amazing things. Christine does a lot of the stewardship activities, and she gets to know the donors real well. So just Joyce does all of our financial stuff. If there's a financial question or how much is in my account, they can contact her. So I really do want to let the entire community know who is in here and who they can connect with, because we're all very comfortable just calling Kristi for everything. So probably
we get to reintroduce ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, I am excited, of course, because I love a good trip. I'm an Enneagram 7. Jen is a big Enneagram person. Look it up, everybody. She'll put a link. She'll put a link.
Yeah, I'll put a link for you guys to get your Enneagram numbers.
Yeah. So I am a 7 and I like to travel a lot. So I'm looking forward to our alumni and friends trip, which will be going to Switzerland, Germany, Austria,
And Italy.
And Italy. Austria. We are making a stop in Austria too, right? Like a quick one?
Yes, we have to see the birthplace of Mozart and go on our Sound of Music tour. Oh, yeah.
Don't make me
We're going to be
sing.
making our
Our
won't.
dance.
And don't make me sing. I mean, I think this office knows. Listen, we might be a talented crew, but I'll tell you one thing that at least Amanda and I cannot be asked to do is to sing anywhere. So
The thing in the office that they know about me is if a song comes on, I sing one line over and over and over.
and gets it in everybody's head all day.
They're like,
long,
Amanda.
too. Yeah, everyone's screaming, Amanda. She's just on the other side of the wall here for me even today. And it's funny because that's just like how everybody communicates. And if there's one thing we're going to miss about our boss, Kristi, leaving is her just screaming, Amanda, from her office and having everybody come running. So
I think I need a button. Like
you do need a button.
The button?
Yes.
The Amanda button.
Yes. So yeah, we are going to have an amazing year here. I was so excited to get to kind of bring you on the show today to, I guess, reintroduce you in a sense and just hear a little bit more about your backstory. And the fact that you're an alum is just such an important piece to the fact that now our executive director has that title, has something so special is that you experienced this place as a student and it really shaped who you are to get you to this point. And so I wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to share that. So now you listen to my podcast. You're one of my most faithful listeners because you don't have a choice. But
I
always like to end with a piece of advice. And I think that you have so many perspectives you could come from at this. But for new students starting out at JJC, students right now who are thinking of coming here in the fall, what is your piece of advice for them?
I think I have 2 of them.
Okay.
My first piece of advice is to explore. I think I was talking about this with you the other day. Like when I came here, I was in Florida. I came back and I was like, I need to take my classes. I need to get done. I need to move on. I need to do this. I need to do that. I had no plan. And I didn't give myself the opportunity to test out different things and try to figure out what I wanted to do. The great thing about JJC is you can do that. I mean, if you like to cook, which I don't, by the way, if you can take culinary classes, if you want to weld, you can weld. If you want to just be a traditional transfer student, you can do that too. And I didn't realize that was all here. And it was at the time. A lot of that was here. And I think that students need to realize that we are an affordable institution. We have many scholarships. We haven't even said this, but we just this fall, we gave out over $1 million in scholarships to students. That was just the fall semester alone. When I came back to JJC, we were giving out like $300,000 a year in scholarships.
Oh my God,
so
amazing.
There are opportunities and there are, in many cases, funding, and you don't have to be a straight A student. Explore, discover different things. They're here to discover. So do that and get involved, which is another thing I feel like I should have been better at doing. But now I see it working here and students that are involved. And I'm like, why didn't I do that? I was in Phi Theta Kappa, but so.
Well, you get to get students involved now in all the different ways that we have available to them in the office. So
yeah.
And yes, so I'm going to add to that too. That's great advice, first of all, Amanda. But yes, apply for scholarships. Anybody who's listening, who's the student who's going to start here, or if you're thinking yourself of coming back, make sure you are applying for our scholarships. Like Amanda said, last fall, $1.2 million went to students. So February 1st is going to open the next window. That's when you can start applying for fall 2026 scholarships. And you can do so and find out all the info that you need at jjc.edu/scholarships. Save that, write it down, we'll link it, but make sure that you keep that in mind because obviously now you got to hear from this podcast what it takes to sort of raise that money, what we're doing on our end. And our favorite part about that is getting to award that money, seeing all of that hard work, seeing you connect with your donor. These moments are huge for us. And if you want to be a donor yourself, you can also go to jjc.edu/give to JJC, and you can be one of our fabulous donors coming into 2026. So Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today and kicking off this new year.
Thank you so much for having me. And The one thing that I want to add is we love all of our donors, no matter the amount they give. We truly do. I get excited when a $20 gift comes in, a $10 gift, a $5 gift when our new graduates graduate and give to the philanthropy scholarship. Like, we love every level of donor. We really do. And we're not just saying that.
No, it's so true that our slogan from a couple years ago is small gifts make a big impact. And we've never seen that become more true than recently. So no gift is ever too small. And we need you to keep doing what we get to do for our students here at JJC. So thank you so much to all of our listeners. We're excited for the episodes that are still to come in 2026. And we will see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. For more episodes, information, foundation events, and ways to give or get involved, visit jjc.edu/alumni.